if I ever do have something in my head where like this is a small town story where every day is a summer day, this is just a summer vacation and these kids come up across something like, if that ever strikes me, Kids on Bikes is going to be like my first go-to of like either am I going to use it or like majority use it.
I think, I was going to say, to me, the selling point as someone who homebrews everything, much like Grey, even down to the system that I play, I think if I wanted to tell this kind of story, I might just pick up Kids on Bikes, maybe homebrew on top of it, but I don't think I would write a whole new system to try and tell this kind of story, which to me means that they kind of nailed what they were going for.
Yeah.
Welcome to Take the Damage podcast by Unfortunate Ones. I'm Sav.
I'm Nix.
I'm Greythorn.
And I'm Ace.
And today we are doing our cooldown from our system exploration for Kids on Bikes with our adventures with, did you rename it? I know you had reached out about it.
I renamed it to what you told me, which is Stranger.
Yeah. The Stranger.
The Stranger.
Agent Upton, the Stranger. I think, as per usual, we'll talk about the game system first. And then latter half, we'll talk about the story that was told. Because the point of system exploration, as much as we love to tell stories, is to explore the system and learn new mechanics and yada, 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 blah, blah. Before we get fully into that, some things that I did kind of homebrew a little bit. One, the thing that I think is like the front and foremost thing is the powered characters. You guys are meant to play them, which I did allow for. You guys had the cards, and it came up with Ace playing the cards whenever you guys wanted to, which is why, by the way, you guys are supposed to actually play the character, which I hate, so I didn't do. Like, you guys would be the voice of, and it'd be shared. Like, when Grey wants the character to do something, Grey would be the voice of Noah. And that's okay. I think it leads itself into a style of play that I generally don't like, which is descriptive play. Instead of being like, how did you get into my bar? It's like, oh, my character would ask how he got into my character's bar. So more descriptive rather than actual role playing, because I think it'd be very awkward for a group of people to all first person mode share the voice of a singular character, especially an NPC that's not your character. So that's something that was homebrewed on top of it, is that I just didn't do that. Yeah. I played Noah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that lending to some spots where like there might be even players who have different opinions about what the power character should be doing. Yeah. And so you potentially could come into, and also like if somebody plays the power character, like we had a little bit of it, but like in a place where we all agreed, it was like, oh, if one person uses a power character and then uses all the dice. Yeah. And then like now nobody else really has a use of the power character.
I think that's kind of an expected thing with the powered characters, which is like you guys all hold the cards. However, if someone's like, oh, this would be a good time for, let's say it wasn't with powers, if this would be a good time for Noah's being impulsive to come into play, right? Grey or Nix, either of you guys could have called that card out.
Yeah.
And then it would be up to Ace, who holds the card, to say in what way Noah is being impulsive.
I think we had that where like the goofball scenario, there's one of the goofball scenarios where like me or Ace pointed out like, hey, can you use
don't forget about goofball
for Grey? And Grey used it.
That was the obvious homebrew, but we talked about it at the table, which is I made the dog a powered character for no reason at all.
Yeah. And that one you didn't really play. That one was more like I mostly dictated how Thor behaved.
Yeah. And what Thor would have been doing.
What he was doing for the most part. I think there were a couple of times where like when he went with Ace, where Ace was kind of commanding him. And yeah. So like I think Thor acted the most like the game intends power characters to work.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, and so I didn't do it because I didn't want to.
I think it was fine. I think it's probably, to me, I favor the approach, but also I haven't spent that much time playing with like these totally like story free form, let the players dictate so much of the story elements.
I think for me, I foresaw that you guys wouldn't necessarily be into it either. I knew I wasn't, so I was just going to not do it because that's the luxury of being the GM. But how would you guys feel if we played through it and you guys had to voice Noah?
I think it'd just be weird because like what was previously mentioned, the idea that like the character could just be wildly different in its behaviors.
Yeah, there's no consistency. At least it's harder.
I mean, each one of us at this table plays the game a little differently, and it's going to shine through in our characters, but it's going to shine through even more if we're sharing a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there'd probably be discussions at the table of what Noah is, like whose character is. And so I think there'd be a little bit of bounds as we was like trying to be responsible players.
Yeah.
Where we would try to play the character to a certain kind of like through line.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it opens up a lot of awkward things. But I don't know, power character. What does power character mean?
Yeah,
and like if they're not that consistent, that maybe that's okay.
There's also an awkwardness where the powered character, especially in this story, was a mystery to a degree, and if you read the book, that's like common. That's a common trope. How would you guys even begin to play Noah? Like, think from the beginning, you guys meet a kid. Cool. Ace, what's the kid doing? How would you even go about that? That seems strange to me because there's no... I think what the expectation is that these cards just get dealt out and they say things like impulsive and gentle and caring or protective or things like that, or trusting. And then from there, we create a character above table, and that's who it's supposed to be.
The players not knowing the history of the powered character makes it so that, like, if we were in total control of Noah from the beginning, like you did that part where like he uses our abilities and that's where we find him.
Yeah.
And then from that point forward, we have complete control over Noah. I don't think Noah would have been, depending on who took it over, if it was Ace or me or Gray, Noah wouldn't have been that, hey, how are you guys?
Yeah, that shy, gentle, awkward kid.
I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Like,
all of a sudden, he's Arnold.
Yeah. He saved my ass.
I mean, I think the way that you're supposed to do it, just for the record, is like, we have the whole mystery of him unfolding. Let's say if we went into the second campaign, we would have a grand discussion of what he knows and his history and who he is and how he acts. But like, to me, that takes away from the mystery a little bit because I guess the idea is that you do that and then try not to meta as your character. Like, no one knows this thing. And then you guys just pretend that you don't know it so that in a moment, Noah could be like, oh, by the way, this thing. I think what would actually happen, though, is just from the get, you'd just be like, cool, we have a conversation with Noah. Also, we control Noah. So Noah just expositions everything that Noah knows, and now we don't need Noah.
Yeah, that's another thing is that if if we as players want to find out the answers, and if the answers rely on the power character,
to any degree,
you could just kind of make the power character tell you the answers.
I think that's kind of a thing about Kids on Bikes as well, where like I imagine just at least for me as a DM running up against just running dry on the types of stories that I would want to. I mean, I could do it for a while. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stories to tell, but like, how many times can you give the powered character amnesia? That's going to be a common trope. It literally talks about it being a common trope in the book, but like, to not go up against what we're all talking about right now,
I mean,
it's an easy answer. The kid has amnesia, so the kid doesn't have the answers. But how many times can you run a new story and that's the answer?
You'd have to do something like I brought up while we were playing, like where E.T. did a good setup for how do you distrust the police in a game like this? Because like you said, in a lot of these stories, it seems like, oh, kids go to the police. And then problem solved, and we're done.
And then there's the answer.
Yeah, where like E.T., at least from what I remember, E.T., like it sets up where like
the police are the bad guys.
The police are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think in a similar way with Kids on Bikes, like the ET solution is like the powered character doesn't have a shared language.
Not a shared language is a good other one.
Is either mute, doesn't have a shared language, or amnesia is one of the book
I very
ways.
intentionally wanted to move away from those tropes because I'm an idiot. Because this is the first and maybe only time we're going to play this game. I really could have just played that trope. But I wanted to pull away from those tropes because I wanted to see how well you could do it without it.
I mean, it also could be that, like, even if a character wanted or a player wanted to exposition dump from the powered character, you could do a little bit like Noah, which is the powered character has trauma.
Yes.
That doesn't allow them to reach into those memories.
Yes.
So even if you were as a player like, well, I'm just going to say what he knows. Like, no, you can't. Or make a check. It's really high.
Well, essentially what he knows is what he told you guys, which is like he doesn't know where the facility is.
Granted, repressed memories is not that far away from amnesia. Like,
yes.
Like, so in terms of how it plays out in the game.
Hollywood amnesia, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
So the more what I was going for was when he made his escape, he was disgruntled. And therefore was not like it's a blur to him. Like it was a traumatic experience where it was adrenaline rush and whatnot. He doesn't remember where he just wandered afterwards.
Yeah,
it was intense
blurred,
getting out of there.
Blurred memories.
Yeah, so like he doesn't have amnesia. He remembers getting taken. It's also why when he got taken, he got black bagged. Was
so that he wouldn't know where he's
so that I
going.
don't have to erase his memory for him to not know answers.
It's also he's a child.
Yeah.
Well, how much of a reference do you have to say certain things and to know certain information?
Yeah.
And how much do you believe? I mean, if you're playing as another child, then yeah, sure. But if you're playing as an adult or an older teen,
and how relevant the information he would have would be. Yeah.
How much sense does it make to someone older?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, guys in black suits took me. It's like, okay, that kind of helps, but it doesn't really solve any. Like, do you know who they are? It's like, no, they're guys in black suits and cars.
Yeah.
What kind of cars?
Well,
I don't know. They were just cars.
Rather than have him not remember, I just had him not know things. He didn't know who they were.
Yeah. Again, it's I like the feeling of having like that the powered character be a sentient character.
Yes.
Where like it's somebody we interact with, not like we react as.
Yeah.
So like I liked it.
It would be my preferred approach, or it was my preferred approach. I was just curious to you guys how much you even would want to have played it the way it's supposed to be.
The thing is, I don't have experience the other way, so I can't say whether.
Yeah, I only have my anticipation that I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I think from just looking at it, there's just so many ways that it could go wrong
and be awkward
and just have these weird pauses that we don't know what to do or what to say. And then you've kind of got to fill in the blanks.
I got to tell you what. Yeah, and then at that point, who's playing it? If I have to tell you how to play the character in the moment. Yeah.
Anytime there's a mystery, we've got to talk to this person and get information from them.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're playing the character anyway. So it kind of just makes more sense for the GM to be, playing that character as just a character that we're interacting with.
As an NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, guys, here's a toy. You got to share it, but you also got to play it this specific way. No, it can't tell you anything important.
Yeah.
Also, even though it should know it.
I'm now that character. I'm going to say this thing. DM, what is the thing that I say?
I say
this.
Here's the other side of that of the way that these style of games where everybody shares the narrative, I think are supposed to play, but it doesn't work for a 3-session thing like we were trying to do. For a longer term thing, it could have. But what could have been is, let's say for a moment, Gray is like, Noah, what happened? And then Ace takes upon Ace's self to otherwise be like, oh, I got taken to this facility and there were like hundreds of other kids there and they're being genetically altered or whatever. And then as the DM, I just go, yeah, that's canon. And then we have to figure it out from there. I think that is partially how it's supposed to work and how it could work, where the characters are allowed to play the powered kid. But that doesn't work for a succinct short story. Because the more you guys have freedom with the narrative, the bigger the story is going to be.
Yeah, and then it opens up continuity errors and problems, making things mesh. There were hundreds of there are now hundreds of powered characters. Great. Now they're all coming after us at once.
Yeah.
Oh, do you for like in that instance of like the way the book works, like the powers that the characters has, is that predetermined?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't just...
I still make the character.
Okay, you can't just be like, well, the powered character now is this ability.
Yeah. You can have discussions with your table of like what you would want to play with. Now, mind you, these powers are all supposed to be relatively minor. Telekinesis or whatever. I wanted to write something which I don't want to divulge too much about.
Sure.
For the future campaigns that we might play. But I went away from some of those powers, but it was limited. So like that's why he said like, oh, we got to kind of go up to the front door before I would be able to easily see who answers the front door. So that it's not like you're looking 3 days into the future. Like the more unbelievable the task, the harder the DC is.
Sure.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Noah is so powerful.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good power. Yeah.
I mean, the ability to see and manipulate
you
the
essentially
timeline.
didn't fail your check.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a great use of it, by the way. But yes, you can. It is in the book, like a possibility of like, especially in a more freeform campaign, there's no reason not to do it, where you meet a powered character and then have an above table conversation and be like, okay, what are the powers? What are the attributes? What are the powers that we want to play with moving forward with this powered character?
Granted, this is my first experience with such an open-ended, like, the players also determine so much of the story kind of RPG, TTRPG. Like, it's fine. I think I mentioned earlier where, like, at least after the first session, I was very uncomfortable with the game. I got more used to it.
Sure.
Kind of as we played sessions. It's interesting. It's an interesting system. I think DCs are very hard.
That might have just been me.
No.
To be honest.
I think because the range of DCs on any character goes from the possibility of the character rolling a D4 to a D20.
Yes.
That you have to create DCs that like will work for everyone at the table in some scenarios.
That's why most of our DC... Well, so the way that the book outlines it, to be fair, is pretty good. I'll see if I can pull it up while I'm talking. But, like, most things shouldn't be incredibly hard. Like in that term, the idea is that... I think the problem comes in is that on Kids on Bikes, you don't have a list of skills. So you literally only have 6 things, and one of them is going to be a D4. And the way we played it, literally every single check came up, which means you're going to be rolling a D4 against a certain level of difficulty, which is going to be really hard to do no matter who you are.
Don't get me wrong. Again, the exploding dice makes it so it's possible, especially on the lower dice, the possibility of hitting the highest number is a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
So like your chances of exploding on smaller dice is better.
Yeah.
The only thing is, at least in my mind, the way that you ran it, is the DCs that felt good throughout most of the game were like 4 and 8, like 4 to 8. I mean, like,
well, that's through most of what we did was hovering around 6.
Yeah, that felt good in terms of there was chances of failure, and I mean, Ace can attest to it. Ace failed a bunch.
Yeah, I think I finished with a total of 12 adversity tokens. All of them flight checks.
Yeah, I failed a ton. But like, to me, it's like once you start getting harder in the DCs, it's kind of happened at the end of the game, which is like we had like 8s and 10s in a row, a couple of those DCs, and everyone at the table failed. We failed horribly. A lot of us rolled like 2s and 3s, and like really
you were
badly.
gonna fail no matter what.
Yeah, but it was still those higher DCs was like, oh, once that hits the whole table, there's at least one character that's gonna fail because the diversity of the dice is so high.
Yeah.
But
and when calling a check for all 3 players, doesn't matter what the skill is, someone's going to be bad at it.
To me too, it's also like something you pointed out, which is like my 12-year-old or 12-year-old character could beat up a Delta Green agent.
Yeah.
Because my dice for fighting is 20.
Yeah.
Granted, there's some reasonability that you'll put in as a DM to be like, yes, you win this fight, you win the contest, but also you're a child against an adult.
Yeah.
So like there's some probably navigating that narrative.
Kick him in the nuts.
Narratively, yeah.
Yeah. But it's still like that D20 fight, if the DC is 6
Yeah.
on average, like I'm winning the
60.
majority
Well, a
of
fight would be a contest, to be fair.
Sure, but anything that would, like, let's say it's not fight. Let's say fight for me happens to be a contest. because
Yeah.
that's my
Let's
skill.
say it's grit.
Let's say it's grit is your D20. Let's say brains is your D20. Flight is your D20. Like, to try to balance out where that lands to make it so the really good characters at it are like just, granted, that could just be part of the game. You just win every time. And with the adversity tokens, even if you roll badly, you could still get there.
I mean, just winning every time. I think that's why adversity tokens exist.
Yeah.
Real quick. 3 to 6 is a task where success is likely. 7 to 9 is a task where success is likely or almost certain for those that are very skilled. So it's not. That's why we were playing in that range. Is like, for me, it means that like 3 to 6, if you're good at it, it's probably fine. If you're bad at it, it's difficult, but not crazy. And then the 7 to 9 range is like, that's going to be kind of a harder thing to do in general. If you're really, really excellent at something, like fighting, and you have a 20, you could probably do those things, especially considering adversity tokens. But for anybody else, that'd be hard. That'd be a hard task to do, which is why I was in that like 8 to 10 range of like, oh, this is like a real hard thing to do. And then hovering around that 6 range for most challenges. And then some of them I gave you DC 3s and DC 4s where I was like, this isn't that bad, but maybe you'll fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the book, does it have a difficult range? Like, does it go above that?
Yeah, all the way to 20.
Okay.
But my impression through reading it is that you should hover around that 6 to 9 range. That was my impression, and it sounds like my intuition was correct.
Yeah. To me, in terms of as a system, that feels like it's the hardest thing to balance at a table is like, is managing those kind of ranges. But I mean, maybe again,
I think only when you come at it at an angle of things of most TTRPGs where like things are supposed to be hard and challenging, whereas this game seems to have kind of a thematic, it's supposed to feel good type thing.
Yeah, again, it all depends on how you're running the game. I mean,
Of course.
you know, you want your players to have fun, but if it's too easy, they lose interest and everyone's on their phones and
Yeah.
who cares? We're just going to succeed anyway. But if you make it too hard, it's the same thing on the opposite end of the spectrum where no one wants to play because they're just going to fail anyway.
Yeah.
And I think the adversity tokens really help with that in this system
Absolutely.
where it's like, oh yeah, I failed, but you know, the next time if I need to, I can throw something into it.
it definitely makes failing softer.
Yeah,
There
100%.
there is like almost a kind of relief to a failure.
So, on that note, one thing that you guys could have done in certain situations, not all of them. Sometimes I called for a check, and it's like you guys are all in flight right now, and that's just a reality. But there are certain things that you guys could have done, and this is like goes back to like party composition in D&D, where like know your character, know what you're good at, and think along those lines. If there's something brawny, you guys would all know Clay was the brawny one. Send Clay to make that check. Because it will be unfortunate when you go to make that check. What might be easy, super easy for Clay might be incredibly difficult for Leo. So kind of trying to bid for rolls based off of your character's stats.
Yeah.
Now there's other times where that can't happen and you guys are in the last chase scene in our adventure and you all have to make a flight check and Clay has no flight. And even though it wasn't an incredibly difficult DC, it still was enough to absolutely fuck Clay over. Like there was almost never an opportunity where he was ever going to succeed there.
Yeah, I would have had to explode and then roll at least a 2 just to pass the check.
Again, there is a kind of correction in the exploding dice rule, which is the smaller dice just have way higher opportunities to explode.
Yeah.
Because I exploded a bunch of times when, like, grit is my lowest dice.
Yeah.
And I had tons of, like, 5-6 checks on grit, and the only way for me to get that was to explode.
Yeah.
Because I have a D4, and I did. I exploded into a lot of successes for grit, and I was like, oh, that's actually like, oh, I'm glad that worked out the way that it did.
Smaller die have a much bigger opportunity.
It's 25% chance on a D4 that you're going to explode, which is pretty fucking.
So now that you bring that up, that is something that did not come into play at all because I just could not be arsed, which is fucking when you explode, it's considered a lucky break. And I'm supposed to narratively describe how you got super lucky in this situation. That's the only reason that you succeeded. And I just can't be asked. The reason you got lucky is because you rolled high. I don't want to give that narrative explanation every time.
We had a lot of exploding dice.
To have to do that every single time of like, and a black cat runs across and screeches and distracts them in the moment. And to have to do that every time, that's
a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, granted, this game seems to ask so much of a DM.
Oh yeah.
In a normal campaign where like, you guys, there's a powered character. What's the powers? Oh gosh, I hope my players don't break that somehow.
Or like they just, like we said, creating continuity errors, creating cementing certain things into like into the lore, into the like what's going on in the game. And it's like, it feels like such a heavy load that you were asking for the DM. Now, if you're adding that, where like every time a character explodes, it's like narratively, hey DM, here's another task for you.
Yeah.
Kind of explain this more.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a lot to keep track of.
Yes.
Especially the longer the campaign goes.
Yeah. I think it's a new thing that's becoming more and more popular of letting the players control the narrative. And I think what people think is happening is that like, no, that's easier for the DM because the DM doesn't need to think of everything because the players can think of something. It's like, no, it's not because the DM then needs to think about and scramble for why it's interesting. Yeah, the player has no responsibility to make it interesting. The DM needs to find this weird tidbit that you just added in as a player and find out how it ties to the story, how it ties to the characters, how it ties to the town, how it moves things. That's not...
Yeah, the DM has to fold everything back into a narrative.
Yeah.
Because the players don't give... The players aren't as concerned that there is a consistent narrative that's happening. They're just kind of... They're having fun reacting and making the things happen.
Yeah.
Granted, if you had a table that was full of responsible players that were all okay with folding the narrative back in on itself. And I did that a couple times in the game we played where like I was trying to help. I mean, so did Gray and so did Ace, trying to push the story back to the narrative, pushed everything kind of back to the thing that we were, the end goal that we were trying to hit.
Yeah.
But like, man, I could see you being in a loose table where like you could just shovel all this stuff onto the DM and the DM is just in a panic.
And not even in a bad way, because I do hold, me and you have come to the conclusion recently on this podcast where it's like, we had to take a step back and be like, well, you don't write systems for bad players. If you have a bad player, you deal with your bad player.
Sure.
And there's always going to be someone that's going to break the system. You don't write it for them. But not even talking about bad players, I think it's very commonplace for a player because the player doesn't have the same level of things running in their mind of like the backlog of everything that's going on in the fucking entirety of the world. Players often are very in the moment.
Yeah.
So when you have someone that is canonizing things and driving narratives very, very in the moment, the thought process isn't, how is this going to connect to this other thing and connect to these other guys over here for it to all tie in? The thought process is, you know, it'd be really cool right now. So like, I agree. I think that just overall, I think it is a very heavy load if you were to do it a full campaign and to the full extent that the book wants you to allow freedom to the players. I think that creates a very heavy load on the DM.
Yeah. And I think another thing too is I was thinking about it and I was trying to not think about it. So I actually listening to you and now I forgot what I was thinking about.
Adversity tokens. How'd you guys feel about adversity tokens?
I think it was fine.
Loved them.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
It's a very,
oh, sorry. real quick.
Uh-huh.
Yes, don't write systems for the bad and worst characters, but also don't write systems thinking everyone at the table is the best version of a player that you can get.
Sure.
You have to write for the average.
Yeah.
In thinking about the good and the bad players.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of
that was
course.
it.
Adversity tokens are very much a comeback mechanic where you fail a series of failures and then get to stack that onto a failure and do well with it.
Yes.
Like when I spunked 6 adversity tokens to pass a DC 8.
But did it feel like my question would be, did it feel like you cheated yourself into a win there? Or did it feel good that you had the opportunity to win even though you weren't good at something?
It was a little handholdy, but it wasn't, because it rides off the back of a failure and the failure still happens.
Yes.
I think it breaks away from a little bit of that, like, oh, this game is holding my hand a little too much.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, it's more like just softening the blow from a failure. Just, oh, you keep failing. Well, now you have all these adversity tokens that you can stack. And now this next time, maybe you don't need to fail. Yeah. Maybe you spend 3 or 4 or 10 adversity tokens so that you can pass a check.
I don't know if I would want to implement it the same way, like a similar style. Like
I'd want to do it softer.
But I do like the fact that failure isn't just, it's like that problem of like 5e combat where if you like fail to hit, you just do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I like there being something.
Yeah.
I like there being, you fail, but you still get something out of it.
Yeah.
There's still something there.
What I liked about it is the way you guys used it. Oftentimes, not every time. Sometimes you're just trying to figure out if Betty's still alive.
Yeah,
but such a waste. God!
But sometimes the way you guys used it was like being decisive of like, this is really important in the narrative. So I'm going to spunk my resources to make sure that this important thing in the narrative happens.
It's kind of like having inspiration dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you get them like every time you mess up.
But rather than having to roll, you just have a stacked number that you can throw into it.
Yes, but a more accessible inspiration dice. Because inspiration dice always feels to me like it's so, you have no idea when you're going to get the next one.
Yeah.
So people hold on to their inspiration dice or they spunk it right away versus this adversity dice, you feel like it's a resource you're going to get back. So you're not afraid to really use it.
Yeah.
And it allows you to, like, in moments where you think checks don't matter very much, let it go because something might matter later.
Yeah.
And so it also just inherently makes you, to a degree, if you have the resource built up and allow yourself to fail, I think it softens the blow of that failure as well, because you have chosen to, as a player, fail, essentially, or to not come back. You've made a decision that, like, okay, this isn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. Whereas in other games that don't have any mechanic like that, I feel like every failure kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And in this one, you are choosing mechanically to accept the failure, so it doesn't feel as bad because you've made the choice.
Granted, there are a couple times where Ace and Gray and even myself were like, you're so far out of range.
You're miles away. But that's okay. But fail then.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes failure's okay.
Yeah. But I liked it. I liked the way it felt.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes it helpful with the fact that every skill is a specific dice rather than a specific value.
Yeah.
Like, I know that unless I explode, I'm going to fail 90% of the flight checks with my character the way he's built. Just because one of the skills has to be a D4.
Running something that you're not good at, yeah.
And without having experienced the game, you throw it where you throw it.
To an extent, I ran into situations where I was a gritty kid, where I was really doing things that called grit. Grit is my lowest skill. I think I passed like 70%.
I think you passed every grit check.
I think
he failed.
Oh, only the last one.
The last one, I think I failed. But like almost every other grit check I did, I surprised myself.
Yeah,
like,
you were exploding like crazy.
I was like, oh, I made it.
Whereas I was sitting over here with a flight check rolling 2s and 1s.
There's only a couple times where like I even played into like the oversensitive flaw that my character has.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it didn't come up, but also like my grit's so low. Like my kid, the kid I have shouldn't be this gritty.
Yeah.
Granted, the thing that didn't make sense is that at least this style of character, Animal Lover, is like the my grit's so low, but my fight's so high, which is like, that's weird to me.
Glass cannon.
Not glass
grit
cannon.
doesn't mean strength. So brawn being low and fight being high would be
brawn
bad.
is D12, which is the second highest ability.
Yeah, but grit being bad, grit is like constitution. It's your ability to not be scared, to be stoic, to stand strong.
Sure, I'm just saying, like, for a character who is so good at fighting,
Yeah,
and who has a lot of strength, to also have very low grit,
yeah.
it's like, oh, that's a very unique choice. I don't necessarily know as a player, I don't necessarily know how to play that. Like, how do you make those two?
I think you just don't lean into fights, but when you get into fights, you do well.
Yes, I think that, but like, I almost leaned into fights, and
because you wanted to use that fight check.
It's also like, I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't afraid of getting into fights.
Yeah.
So like,
but by your sheet, you probably should have been.
I probably should have played the character a little bit differently than I played him.
That's okay.
But again, it's just one of those things that's like,
I'd always think, fuck what your character sheet says, play the player you want to play, and your stats are eventually going to talk for you. Like if we were playing a full campaign, something very small might happen, and Dustin might be shitting his pants over it while everybody else is stoic and fine. Let the dice speak for you.
Yes, I actually think that's probably the bigger implication of why I kept playing Dustin the way I did, is the first time I went through something that needed a grit and I exploded into it, I was like, ooh, here's a little bit of like, no, this is how the character's playing. And then when it happened again, I was like, no, this is a gritty kid. He doesn't have a lot of it, but he's gritty.
But then something could happen to shine a light on the delicate creature that you are.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about? I know we've talked about it a lot, but only having 6 stats and then having dice attached to them. So one, only having 6 stats, because I know like Delta Green has like 30 fucking skills.
Delta Green has a lot of skills.
As far as ease, I don't like what these skills are. I'll say that outright, because like you guys are stealthing. I made it a flight check. I don't know what else to make it, but like I don't necessarily love what the stats are, but I do like the idea that there's just 6 stats and you're good at something,
it's a
bad at
skill-less
something.
sheet.
It's very, very easy to run a skill-less cheat, and for me to just look at 6 things and decide one of them is the thing that I'm calling for.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about? We'll talk about that first, I guess. Only having 6 stats.
I mean, it makes it's got to make it a little harder on your end, because you have to sit there and go, okay, what would this be? What little individual thing, this tiny skill that doesn't quite match with any of these 6?
Kind of like earlier.
Where do I
it's a heavy
throw
load
it
on
in?
the DM.
Yeah, it's very much comes down to DM discretion, and every DM is going to play it different. It's good. I mean, it makes it easy to play.
Yeah,
it makes it easy to pick this up and just begin playing the game.
Sure,
because you don't have to learn. Okay, I have this weapon in 5e. I've got this weapon. It's got this plus to hit with this much damage and this much plus the damage.
Like where do I add my plus skills to? Do I plus the acrobatics? Oh, where does acrobatics go?
Yeah. What do I do with that? I mean, whereas, there's so many skills on that sheet that you can just go, oh, this fits in with this. Okay, so this is going to be, a stealth skill, or oh, this is going to be a medicine check. Whereas on this one, you kind of have to do everything like a medicine check. Where would you put that? Would you put that in grit, or would you put that in brains?
But like, you almost don't have to think of it as a player, because
and then that could change depending on if I'm doing the medicine check on myself. Would that be brains or grit?
Versus if you're trying to patch yourself up, I'd say brains.
Versus
if you're trying to just not be hurt, I would say grit.
Almost like what happened at the table.
Or brawn.
Yeah.
Visually is you could probably have the urge to argue.
I would allow it. I actually had one in my head. I would absolutely allow that, where I'd be like, okay, this guy's going to try and fight you. He's trying to grapple you down to the ground. Give me a fight contest. And then you could go very easily. You could be like, well, I'm not really trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to resist. Okay, well then I suppose give me a flight check to try and get out of whatever the hell he's doing. He's like, well, I'm not really trying to run away. I'm more just trying to like be a rock, be sturdy, and try to use my strength to not go down in the grapple. okay, I guess use your brawn then. I think that's fine.
Also, you could fucking Sherlock moment it. You could be like, no, I want to use my brain to figure out the way to incapacitate him. It's like you could like literally think of that moment in the Sherlock movie.
Leo, give me a brains check DC 8. If you pass, I will have the DC for the fight.
Yes.
check.
Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty great.
I think there's a lot of argument that you could have with your DM as if what skills they choose.
Yeah.
But like Ace was saying, you don't really make that call as a player. Like you can react to it as when your DM tells you, when you go like, hey, I'm going to do this, like I want to do this, and DM goes, okay, that's a flight check. And you go, well, I think maybe if it's this, and then the DM goes, okay, yeah, I could see that argument, go for it. But it's a lot of DM discretion.
Yeah.
You as a player, you don't have to think about it. You're just like, even if we didn't have the pre-made characters, like the pre-made where the dice goes, if you were just like, oh, fight sounds cool, flight sounds whatever, brains is low, I like grit, and so you set your dice wherever they are, you think about 3 stats or 6 stats.
Well, yeah,
6 dice.
I think that's sorry, go ahead.
I didn't build clay like directly off of the sheet.
Oh, did you move the stuff around?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I stayed with the.
No, because like the flight check, or for some reason the dedicated farmer had like higher brains or something. I was like, that seems weird. And so I moved a couple things around. I'm like, oh, flight. No, he's just not going to run from anything.
Yeah,
he's just going to stand his ground. He's a brawny, gritty boy, and he's just going to stand there and hold his ground. And then every check was a flight check.
Yeah.
I think I actually don't think it's heavy on the DM. I do think it means more conversations at the table. I think it's overall easier though. I think it's easier to just have 6 stats to look at. It's less complex and it makes for a less complex character, and it definitely leads into that some things are going to suck for some characters and be really easy for other characters, the DC being harder to find. I think it definitely leads into that as well. Although that's more about the dice system than exclusively about having 6 stats. I think it's fine. Like, it's originally where I was going to go with G&G of not having skills, and it's just those 7 abilities. That was just going to be.
I mean, my only thing was latching on to Ace's thing, where I think as a player, it's easier to design and build and just run with a character sheet.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to understand what the skill trees are. You don't have to understand which each skill does and how it applies. And like Delta Green, which is like, you get what, like 8 or 10 plus ones that you are like, plus is 20.
8 plus 20s, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to go through the 50. It feels like 50. The 50 skills.
I think there's 27.
Yeah, like 30 or 20, something
so
like that.
You have to go through like the 100 skills that are on the sheet.
And some of them have multiple branches.
Yeah. Like the 120 skills that are there are just like, like, what do you do with it? No, but there's a little bit like you have to understand. And like the science ones. There's like 6 different science ones.
Well, so those ones are a lot more complicated, but if you were to take this into like D&D, so the way that Delta Green is built up, if it were the D&D skills, the idea that like, oh, you just can't do stealth. I'm not super in love with that. This being the polar opposite of like, okay, anything that you are doing that you could possibly fathom to do. If Dustin the kid decided to steal your mom's pickup truck and drive it, like, what do you know how to drive? Well, make me a brains check. Anything that you're doing fills into one of these stats in a let's roll to see how you do it paradigm. Whereas Delta Green, there's a lot of things that you don't even roll for. It's just like, no, you can't fly that helicopter.
Yeah,
you just can't do that.
It gives you
but that
a
makes
broader
sense.
brush.
I think it makes
play with.
sense. I think for Delta Green being what Delta Green is, I think it very much makes sense. I think for D&D, that would not be great. And then for Kids on Bikes is thematically the polar opposite, where the kids are supposed to be superheroes to a degree.
I think the system lends well to what the system is. It's what we talk about a lot, which is like when you design a system, the system in itself should kind of inform how the idea of what the game should be.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of that. Like, I think Kids on Bikes is really good at that, which is like, there is a little bit of how the system plays kind of informs the kind of stories you tell with Kids on Bikes. The whole adversity token system, like you said, there is no skill list. There's just these 6 stats, and you as the DM figure out, and even the players could argue, but you figure out how these things apply to any situation that comes up.
Yeah.
So like, I think it does lend to the kind of storytelling.
I really enjoyed they call them tropes, but we'll just call them for the sake of the conversation for anybody that's a novice to the system. The pre-made characters, the pre-generated characters within the book of like, here is a theme and here are your stats. I think that's a great way to do pre-gen characters.
Yeah. I like the idea that most systems have it, but like here's like a baseline version of a character.
Yeah.
And here's their stats.
If anything, G&G is like kind of a hard barrier to entry because there isn't a great way to build any character other than the class that you choose, and it's like you should probably dump points into that class. But like pre-genning characters is
we focus so hard on trying to make a system that was like the competition for the choices you make, like well,
also it being open-ended. You're only going to be slightly better at the thing that you're good at. Other than that, it's a choice. You could have picked a different class entirely and dumped all of your points into aim and be a better aim character than the aim class.
Yeah.
It's a very open system, almost classless system.
It's just having a really strong conflict of choice was just like a big theme. Is like everything, if you leaned into it, is going to be good. So there isn't like a singular direction that you can go.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Granted, you still could in G&G, and I think it'd probably be good. Is at near the end of the book or in the character
have
creation.
Pre-gen characters, of course.
Have pre-gen characters where like this is a lawman. This is, or a deputy. This is an outlaw.
You just do it by class. This is a gunslinger. This is a quick draw. This is whatever.
I like that this had like almost there's thematically how the character is. So I did
think that was neat.
I do think their idea should be like have like instead of it just being a gunfighter or the gunslinger, it's like, oh, this is an outlaw, and the outlaw has these stats, and you do lean it so like they have a little bit more of the things that could make them thieves, the things that could like you thematically have.
It was neat. It was neat the way that they did it with tropes.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't need to talk about it a lot. The fear, the flaw, the whatever. That's just it's on the sheet. It's fine. The strengths. I think the strengths feel like they very arbitrarily just wrote 10 things in a book. I feel like they could expand upon it a million times, and it would always just feel like an arbitrary amount of things. And also, I feel like they're all kind of niche, and because they're arbitrary, I could give a fuck about them. Like there were times where you guys used them or tried to use them, but they didn't come up very much, and then they seem so arbitrary.
Is that this section here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of argument to try to make the thing that made your rolls better to fit that into everything.
Yeah, but they all seem niche.
Yeah,
and then arbitrary.
I did it too.
Yeah.
I tried to lend it to you
was
when you could.
eyeballing me, and I was just.
I think when you did use it, it did feel good though. I almost feel like they're so specific and so arbitrary that I'd rather have it be more akin to your knack, which by the way is how Daggerheart does it, which it just doesn't have that section. It has the knack section, and you write something in your knack that you are good at, and it's something very general. Thief, right? As your thing. I think it's called experience. It's called experience in Daggerheart. You write your experience. And then anything that you can call upon that experience, and it's a much more general experience, kind of like the knacks are general. Anything that you call on, I believe in Daggerheart's a +2. Or at least at low levels. I don't know if that goes up or not. I think that'd be a better way to do it, only because a lot of the strengths in this game felt very arbitrary to me, while being niche. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they have some problems, like the one that the protective strength. the +3 when defending friends.
Sure. It's only going to come up in the fight check.
It's only going to come up in a fight check or a situation like where
I could see
where
situations.
Patricia had a gun on you.
Yeah, those are brawn, but also like flight checks. If you're trying to run away to protect a friend, like if you're trying to like if Noah was about to be captured and I grab Noah and I'm running with Noah, I could see that being like a flight check, and I get the +3 because I'm trying to take him out of the situation.
I think it's just harder to lend. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
You have to have a good argument as to why.
Yeah. But it's also
works.
very situational.
I almost feel like actually play Kids on Bikes, play off the character sheet, don't write down anything and just consider it an additional knack. So gross, as an example, I think a lot of the times where gross might come into play, like say there was a body in the lake or you thought there was a body in the lake, well then that's going to be a grit check to see if you're not going to go in, and then just the word gross on my character sheet allows me to add a +3 to this. You can make an argument as to why it's gross and why you're able to overcome things being gross, keeping it very general the way it's listed as strength. Because on your character sheet for Kids on Bikes, it's just the name of the strength. I think just treat it as the name of the strength. Instead of the actual full descriptive wording of the strengths, just keep it that general, and it's just a checklist of knacks.
Oh yeah, like cool under
Sure.
pressure, like when you know, she had a gun under us. Oh, I'm going to activate cool under pressure because obviously this is a pressure-filled situation.
Yeah.
Sure, I could see that.
Yeah, just so it's more general. I think it's the fact that they're also niche. That
Also new to the game, I didn't use the bike's ability at all.
I used it 3 times.
I was trying not to call you out to use it, but I really wanted you to use it in the escape at the end.
The snap to planning.
I didn't use that at all. Yeah, snap decisions and plan decisions. I didn't use that at all.
That was my purple bike, but like my trading card, I took it out because of stealth reasons.
Yeah,
narratively stealth reasons.
Yeah.
But it was a +1 to distract. But like I didn't. Even at the end, how was that going to apply to...
They're going to go grapple your friends. You drive by them. You're very loud. So they try to go after you, in which case it's their whatever versus your already flight check.
Sure.
And maybe they can't catch you because you're on foot, but now they're not grappling your friends.
Sure.
I was kind of expecting you to play that, to be honest.
But more reliably, I have a bigger fight. So I was trying to get into a fight.
That's fine. I think that's fine.
But yeah, that would have been a case to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like the idea of using them as a more broad, like if you can, for such a narrative based game where everything goes off of the player's narrating and kind of creating the world, to kind of pigeonhole the player.
Yeah.
With like, this thing does this specific thing. It just kind of feels
literally your investigation for the dead body. If you had Treasure Hunter, Leo, and I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. You know, you've tracked things before, you've hunted things down. Sure, add your Treasure Hunter to this investigation. But then if you read Treasure Hunter, I don't know what it says offhand, but if you read Treasure Hunter, it's like, no, that doesn't apply here at all.
Yeah.
It applies to very niche fucking situations.
Yeah, and it just makes it so that you can't really use these strengths that are so, like, I didn't get to use the rebellious strength once. I tried multiple times.
That's a weird one too, because I don't know.
And
I hardly ever roll persuasion against PCs.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to do. You tell me if you've been persuaded or not. If I can't do it as a DM narratively and dialogue-wise, then you're not persuaded. It's fine. I generally don't make those kinds of rolls because it feels like breaking a character's agency, where I'm like, this guy says you should shoot yourself. And he rolled a nat 20 on persuasion. It's like, I guess I'm just going to do that dumb thing that I would never do.
Yeah, I'd put it more into, like, rather than persuasion, like intimidation or something like that.
I let you use it with your conversation with, but yes, in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, the strengths have a lot of good qualities. And it does add something to it so that your skills aren't just flat skills the entire time.
Yeah. I think they should just be treated more like knacks.
But yeah, a lot more like knacks and a lot more broad so that there's more narrative input from the player.
Sure. I agree. Oh, fuck. I had one more thing. No, I guess I got nothing. Anything else you guys want to talk about mechanically about Kids? It's a pretty simple mechanic, so that's why I expected it to not be that long.
Yeah, I mean we could, unless you guys, we could always roll on the loot table and then go.
Let's roll on a little loot table.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Accept this, Ace. This is the greatest music, the greatest song you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
On the loot table.
Mm.
Let's go and see who our sponsors will be.
Come on.
Let's go.
Let's go roll on the loot table.
It's the greatest thing you've ever heard.
Terrible. Just
It was
painful.
one bad take, and I made it the actual take. Anyways, today's sponsor is Kids on Bikes. They're definitely giving us loads of money, and that's why we did the whole thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could ever get in trouble for falsely claiming that people sponsor us.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. Maybe there's
Today's unpaid sponsor. Kids on Bikes. Second edition specifically is the one that we played. It is a TTRPG system by Hunters Entertainment, designed to hit that nostalgic 80s, 90s Steven Spielberg, Stephen King style movies of kids on bicycles, having adventures, coming of age, solving mysteries, things of that nature. It is a very simple system with a very simple character sheet that allows for a lot of narrative leeway from both the DM and the players to really get involved with the lore and the narrative, how things unfold, the rewards and consequences of certain roles as lent by the GM. And I think it does a pretty good job at outlining the style and themes that you're supposed to play with within the book, as well as having a very simple system to be able to play along with. I know I very much enjoyed it. I don't necessarily think that it'd be my go-to TTRPG for all storytelling, but I could absolutely see myself diving back into a Kids on Bikes things to tell a short Kids on Bikes style narrative, a haunted house or something being stolen or a psychopath in town or whatever you might want to tell of that kind of genre of things. I think it does a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up a couple times where like the example of like E.T. doing some of these tropes pretty well.
Sure.
If you want to tell a story that's like E.T., I think you can go as far as like from E.T. and kind of like you said, this is a little bit more Stand By Me in the game. E.T. Stand By Me, and I think you could probably even push as far as like It. Like
Sure.
the kids part of the It movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, like I think you could probably push the game to that. Like those kind of like small town stories.
Yeah, small town stories.
I feel like you could, like the game is meant for that. And
Yeah.
it feels really
And
good in that
generally
space.
stories that aren't necessarily extremely consequence driven, but more narrative driven. I feel like we certainly were able to utilize the system to hit some coming of age stuff with Clay's character and the farm being sold out from under you and whatnot. I think the system is pretty simple, but well written thematically for what it tries to achieve.
I mean, even at the end of the story we told, which is my character like coming to a part where like, oh, he probably now has to take a little bit more responsibilities.
Yeah.
Loses a little bit of that free spirit that he had.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I agree with you. This isn't necessarily my go-to, and I don't think this is going to be like a place where my imagination and my storytelling really kind of defaults to.
Sure.
But if I ever do have something in my head where like this is a small town story where, you know, it's you know, every day is a summer day, you know,
Yeah.
this is just a summer vacation, and these kids come up across something like, yeah, if that ever strikes me,
yeah,
Kids on Bikes is going to be like my first go-to of like am I going to use it or like majority use it.
I think, yeah, I was going to say, to me, the selling point as someone who homebrews everything, much like Grey, even down to the system that I play, I think if I wanted to tell this kind of story, I might just pick up Kids on Bikes, maybe homebrew on top of it, but I don't think I would write a whole new system to try and tell this kind of story. Which to me means that they kind of nailed what they were going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liken it to Delta Green for babies. Age,
Kinda.
A little bit of
age
that.
20 to 40.
For babies aged 20 to 40.
It does have like a strong, like, I do get Delta Green vibes, but like not that storytelling.
No, nowhere near as big as stakes or yeah. On the note of stakes, now diving into the part of our podcast where we talk about the actual narrative that we actually played, that I had written for you guys, your little story.
Awful, hated it.
The
It was terrible.
stranger in Terminal Junction. I'll start by, I really wanted the first game that we played within the system to be lower stakes. I didn't want it to be crazy high stakes. I wanted you to have moments where you felt like a kid, and dealing with a bully is an intense thing to have to deal with.
I wanted Clay to get shot.
I was pretty open to Clay getting shot. I would have shot him had the dice said so.
Yeah. It would have been hilarious.
Gee, thanks, guys.
But I wanted it to be lower stakes, which is why I made the stranger essentially a murder in town, and that's what you guys had to solve and figure out. I wanted to do that while playing into the tropes of the system of having a powered character and whatnot, but you guys aren't in this campaign solving all of the problems of the world or of Terminal Junction or of Galveston or why kids are going missing. You guys are here to help your newfound friend against a stranger with a trigger finger.
Oh,
I wanted lower stakes.
considering it's lower stakes, did the guys in black suits at the end chase scene, were they all holding walkie-talkies?
Probably.
Do you know what that's from?
I mean, many things. What were
I was
we
waiting to make
referring
that joke for a very long time.
It's E.T. The original
Yeah,
version
E.T.
of E.T.
definitely had
had
it.
they had guns, but in the
Oh,
remaster or
yes,
whatever, they
I
changed
do
the
know.
guns to walkie-talkies.
I do. No, they had guns.
Yeah, they had guns.
But also consequences. Unless Clay fucked up, because Clay had a gun. They absolutely would have just beat up the little kids and like arrested you or whatever, and then
took Noah.
Noah, and you guys would have lost because Noah would have been taken, but you wouldn't have been killed or anything.
Yeah, of course.
Again,
Hopefully.
lower consequences. Unless Clay pulls a gun, then there might have been another tense moment of guns being drawn on kids. Again, I did want to hit more serious tones with it, but stakes low. So, yeah. They did have walkie-talkies, but no, they had guns.
I mean, for me, the whole narrative felt good. There was a lot of just really intense personal moments
Yeah.
with Clay that I just really appreciated. The whole, dealing with the bully who's dating his crush and,
Mhm.
trying not to look like a wimp in front of her, trying not to back down, but also trying not to seem like an asshole like that guy is.
Mhm.
I
And-
honestly think you took really well to the story. To the
Oh,
story.
very
I had
much so.
so much fun with the character, with the story. I mean, the intense conversation with Clay's mother, like I was feeling that
Yeah.
when I was in it. It was incredible.
I felt like many times I with Gray, at least, trying to be sillier with Gray. Like I felt like there was a lot of like sillier moments where we were playing
You
kids.
guys
Yeah, childhood friends.
You guys dug into the being kids thing really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy points.
The
That
good guy
was
points,
great.
bad guy points was so good.
That's such a thing that a 12-year-old would do too.
I love
in
what was
80s.
that? There was that Butters moment in the last episode. Fuck, what was it? You said something where I was like, "Oh my god, it killed
Yeah.
me." It had me and Ace laughing so hard.
It was so
You had
good.
like a stutter or something. You said something and you like stuttered through it.
Well, I guess.
No, I fuck,
when you
I'm
said
trying to remember.
I think it was the first episode when you called Miles
A fibber.
That
Yeah.
was so good. I loved that.
Well,
so
Miles is just a fibber.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, also like going back to mechanics a little bit. There was so much you guys gave me to play with. The gorge was the perfect grounds to hide a dead body and to discover a powered character. Your family orchard was the perfect place to hide a kid. There was a lot of things that you guys gave me to play with that were so good.
Do you,
The most cartoony one was there's supposed to be a way to recover power tokens for the powered character. And it's literally one of the fucking suggestions in the book that I just pulled from. And I know it was stupid, but I didn't have anywhere else to pull from. So I was like, yeah, Betty makes apple pies. He's going to dig on sweets. And that's how I'm going to get you guys to go to Betty's Diner to get sweets. Because you guys talk so much about Betty in the fucking session 0. I was like, yeah, that's how the power character gets his shit back.
Pretty sure I'm the one who suggested the gorge.
Yes.
You know the reason why I did the gorge?
Because it's in every Kids on Bikes movie.
It's that, but my specific call out is The Simpsons did a parody of Stand By Me, and the story in The Simpsons is Homer finds a dead body in the gorge. So with the intention of finding, not the intention, but like giving you the ability to find a dead body in the gorge, was literally Homer poking I think it's Smithers' dad.
Yeah.
They found his body in the gorge. Like that's why I said it.
That's funny.
It was a callback to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of callbacks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
The tire fire that we were throwing around for a second, but we didn't go that far.
So glad.
Yeah, you guys gave me a lot to play with in that session 0. That was actually fun to have a loose story in my mind that I wanted to tell. And
I think
then
the way
do the
you did
session
it was
0, I think was it was luckily you guys gave me enough. It was really easy to tie into. Oh, and now I get to say on record. Maybe I did say it on record already. But I really needed one of your guys' bikes to break to show off Noah's powers. So thank you, Ace, for breaking your own bike.
Yeah.
Not intentional.
Yeah.
Blame it on my shitty flight skill.
I'm going to jump over this railing.
No, I tried to slide under a
railing.
gate.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's something that could be done.
Of course. Yeah. It's just,
But I suck at flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I picked the apparently most useful skill and made it my worst one.
Granted, they're good opportunities. Like if the gorge wasn't designed exactly the way I thought it was, we're like going down that hill.
Yeah.
Like if there's something there, if you really needed somebody's bike to get broken, there's a chance that it could have gotten broken there.
Why do you think there was a hill there?
Yeah. Or going up. Yeah.
Why do you think there was a hill the whole time?
Why do you think there was a hill and bullies on the path that's not going to break our bikes?
Oh, they were just going to throw your bike into the gorge. Also, I was trying to use that to have you have like a swim skill somewhere.
Yeah, my knack is swimming.
Yeah. So my original idea was to have the bullies toss one of the bikes over and maybe it hit the railing or whatever on its way down. And then you had to go retrieve the bike with your skill only to find out that it was broken. That was my original thought process for the bullies. And I was like, well, but they have agency. They might avoid the bullies. Okay, well, what if the only other opportunity is a horribly steep hill? Well, there's another opportunity for them to fuck up flight checks down the hill and break their bikes that way.
Yeah.
What I didn't expect was the third option of just smashing your own bike.
Ace I'm going to run right by them.
Yeah. Just slide under the gate, get back up on the other side right away.
It was a cool moment, though, of like making bullies matter.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it. And you overcoming was also good.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, I think if we play this, now that we know, but if we play this with other players in the future, I think one of the things that we need to take into account is explaining exploding dice. Because I didn't grasp that concept. So when we did that bully fight, I rolled a 10.
On a 10.
Yeah, on a D10. But I had that +1, and then you wouldn't give me the +3, so I ended up with an 11 versus his 9, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I had an explosion. I could have gotten much higher.
Yeah. Part of that is understanding. Our players should understand.
Yeah. Learning the mechanics. But I think that's such an important part of the mechanic for this game.
Yeah.
That I think it needs to be like thrown out there immediately. Like, hey, instead of, a natural 20 where, if you hit the top number, you just automatically succeed. If you hit the top number, you get to roll the dice again and add it.
Oh, I love exploding dice. I think it is such a satisfying mechanic in any game.
I actually kind of like it better because this is my first time dealing with exploding dice. I actually think I like it better than just the straight natural 20 nat 1.
Yeah. Well, generally those would be on that to hit. But yes, Like, let's say there just aren't critical successes on the to hit, but then on the dice, there's exploding dice. That's a better way of having stacked damage, especially in a game like G&G. That would be outrageous.
Oh yeah.
I like it for this game because of the diversity of the dices you use.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Dices?
would like it. Yeah, the dices, the die. Because of the diversity of the die that you use, I don't know if I would like it if you were on a D20 system.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would like it there.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard on a D20 because everything is a D20 check rather than having specific ones.
Or how you would implement it with a Delta Green D100 system.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed it. One thing I saw at the table, beyond, potential pacing issues or the allowance that me and Gray tend to have for floundering, I think I did notice a little bit of, probably other than Ace, just awkwardness of trying to put yourself into the mind of a kid and then trying to solve a mystery. Where, like, I feel like maybe sometimes there were not obvious answers, but like there were hints or clues or whatever where you're like, well, why would I go for that? And so, like, I think I ended up over hooking and over hinting at you guys to try and get you back on the path.
I did that a lot where I was like, I got to stop being like a grown person at this situation.
Making reasonable decisions.
Making reasonable decisions where, like, I'm overthinking or I understand the consequences of the social situation that I'm in.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, let me navigate this thing. It's like, I'm a kid.
Well, I kept wanting to tell you, but I didn't because I didn't want you to play into it because you're a kid. But I kept wanting to tell you of like, hey, if Thor bites someone, it's going to be a problem. Like, canonically for your character in the future. If Thor's just in an arcade ripping a kid to shreds, that's an issue.
Yeah.
But like a kid might not, especially a kid with a non-leashed dog, like that might not think that way, and you're supposed to be playing into that. So I didn't interrupt you essentially to do that because I did think you were playing into the Thor thing well.
Yeah, I think in the moment Thor was more of an intimidating factor than he was actually going to be jumped into the fight.
Yeah, I don't think I would do because of those consequences. I don't think I would do that unless you called for it.
Yeah.
I think I would turn it over to you and be like, hey, would Thor enter this fight and try and save you?
Like even that standoff about like a little bit into the interaction, I kind of like, oh fuck, I think I'm leaning too far into my own grit, like my own personality.
Where it's like, fuck this bully.
Yeah, my own personality is like, this kid is charming. It's happened multiple times. This is a game where the dice let me be really charming with this kid.
Yeah.
So let me start talking my way out of the situation.
And I thought that was fine because I put also onto you a grit check. And if you had failed it, I would have put onto you that you were floundering in the face of this bigger kid.
Yeah.
And I think you would have played into that just fine.
Yeah. Great. Thankfully, I exploded out of it and I was fine.
Yeah, you exploded out of it and fuck that bully.
Yeah.
100% fuck that bully.
I do wish there was more investigation for your character, for Leo. I wish there was more for you to... I think I was trying to navigate doing this in a succinct 3-session campaign. I wish there was more to play on. I mean, don't get me wrong, you did a number of brains checks, but I wish there was more to play on of you investigating. I mean, even to the degree where that's how we started the game. We started the game where your detective senses started tingling as you saw the stranger in town.
Yeah. The big reveal was also something that Gray did, which was the Patricia and latching on to Patricia as the means to get to the end of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was a little heavy-handed with the hint, but it whatever, it got us where we needed to go. And
it still took us a while to get there too.
It still took you a while to get there too.
I didn't even remember that those tracks existed. So
I had written for every place that you guys might go where I was going to drop hints for Patricia to be there, but for them to not matter until they mattered. Like you wouldn't have cared about the hints. But then you guys did a really good job of just not talking to anybody throughout the campaign. So I didn't drop any of the hints. It's literally, I think, only mentioned before DJ, only mentioned once in that very opening scene. And I know that because I listened to it recently when I was doing the edit, where I told you don't like Patricia, but you don't have to deal with her much because she's often over at the new construction. I think that was the only time I was able to drop the hint. I have a list of a hint for each location that you guys would go to, and it just never came up.
Yeah.
No, to no one's fault, but it was a little bit hard for me to work that hint in a more natural way.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, there were many times where, again, it's this the second lowest stat for my character is brains.
Yeah.
So it's, again, trying to, like, one, he's a kid. Also, certain situations, certain people that I'm talking to, he's not supposed to be a very smart kid. So I can't go with what I want to do as a player.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to lean in a little bit to the sheet, whereas, like, is he really going to figure this out?
Yeah.
I think I got hard stuck because I literally couldn't find another word for it. Where, like, with
Observant.
Observant. Yeah. I was like, that to me, that's like, that's a little too, like,
Highbrow.
Not highbrow. It's a little too quick, a little too witty to say to somebody when they say something and it's like, oh, you're very observant. It's a little witty jab. I was like, I don't know. That seems a little too brainy.
Yeah.
To just come up with that too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was a little too much into my own head about the sheet. And I was like, let me just let it be.
I think, I think I had a little bit of troubles navigating less the system and more trying to nail it in 3.
Yeah.
Like trying to nail it in 3 sessions for me, I think was a little bit harder without getting railroady. And on that note, I've recently played a one-shot and it was very fun, at a great time, and it was very punctual. It was a one-shot, but it was very railroady. And
Yeah.
I think there's a level of my lack of love for tracks and pure just failure, because it would have been, to me, it would have been a bad feel at the table if you guys just didn't figure anything out and you just have this kid, you know?
I think there's a little bit to I don't think we said this on recording. I think there's a little bit to, like, when you're trying to tell a succinct story, there's a little bit of, like, the narrative kind of has to crash into your players.
Yeah.
Which we did right at the end, which is like,
Yeah.
We went to the garage. Patricia showed up with the gun. Patricia said a crazy statement. Who's now in the garage? It's Upton.
Yeah.
Me and Upton's, everyone's talking. Cars are heard in the driveway.
Oh.
It's a lot of this narrative crashing into the players. The players have to respond.
Can I talk about that for a moment?
Sure.
Upton was going to take a lot longer. You guys were going to be able to, you guys could coax out and navigate and figure out through charm or whatever and have a full conversation with the gun-wielding Patricia. Upton showed up so quickly because Upton was following you guys from town. By the way, you guys all made checks. You didn't succeed. He was following you guys. And he was in the neighborhood, but your bikes and shit were hidden. So he was in the neighborhood. It was going to take him a lot longer to get there, but also he had a meeting with Patricia. So he knew of the location, but he was going to get there after you guys had the conversation with Patricia, which would have changed things significantly. Instead, there was a gunshot.
Yeah.
Because someone threw a hammer.
But did it work?
It worked. It sure did work. But yeah, that's why it was a little bit of like and guess who's here? Upton.
I thought Patricia knew more than what she was saying, so I leaned a little bit into giving a little bit of information to get more information.
Oh, I mean, above table, it would be information that I don't want to give you because of the other campaigns that we might play. But she knows a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She knew a lot more.
Yeah, so that was my goal of, like, when my character was saying something, which is like, let me coax a little so I get a little out of her. And then immediately, like, she played it off, and then Clay gave me a look, and I was like, okay, I need a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like she was getting a little panicked.
Yeah, for me, it was I was like, oh shit, like maybe I read the situation wrong.
I actually think you were fine. I think it's fine that the older brother would think that. I think you were fine.
Yeah. It was.
I think the more on the nose you are, the more she would be willing to talk.
Yeah, and outside of character, like, honestly, I felt like crap after that. I'm like, I just completely sideline.
It happened in Delta Green
Nix
as well.
For no reason.
No, it was fine. It was fine. It was honestly, it was an interaction a big brother would have to a little brother.
Yeah.
If he said something that the older brother thought was out of line.
Oh yeah, I was in it.
As somebody who grew up as a little brother,
Yeah.
if you get scolded about something, you kind of shut down a little bit.
Yeah, and as someone who grew up as a big brother, I've absolutely done that to my little brother.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a good story. I liked it. It was. Like I said before, I'm very uncomfortable with the system.
The narrative, yeah.
But like,
well, I don't think the floundering was the system. That's just more DM style.
No, I'm saying like just uncomfortable with the nature of how the system works.
Sure.
And how you play the system, and even like the narrative of 80s, because that's also not something I consume very much. I don't consume a lot of that 80s Kids on Bike content.
Oh, nor do I. I had to go and watch Goonies and Stand By Me for the first time before we played this.
I don't remember.
You've never seen Goonies before? Oh my.
Had not.
I don't remember the Goonies. I have like bits and pieces.
Yeah,
I barely remember.
You could give it a miss. It's fine.
But Sloth Love Chunk.
I barely remember E.T. I don't think I've seen Stand By Me.
Stand By Me is actually a good film that I think you would actually like.
Yeah, I know the parodies of it.
I think you would like the actual tale. It's artsy fartsy and surprisingly not very eventful, but it's a really good film.
Yeah, I just don't consume the kind of content. So when in this space, it was hard. I felt uncomfortable trying to contribute to the narrative being told.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I like you as a DM. I like you as a storyteller.
Thanks, man.
And we were in the space. Also, part of it was Ace working so well in the space.
Oh yeah, like, I think this game really suits you.
I mean, as I said in session 1, I've always been 15. Doesn't matter how old I get. I've always been a 15-year-old in a something-year-old's body.
So I think the way that you played the game really lent to kind of me folding into the game as well, where I was like, okay, this is how we're playing. Also, like Gray too. Gray playing Butters.
Just the best amount of just comedic timing.
It's a piece of advice that I give to newer players that want to do voices. Is like, I get why it's awkward to do voices. The biggest piece of advice that I could give people that don't know how is like, picture a character, any character, do your best version of an impression of them. Because the reality is, you also probably suck at doing impressions. Right now, if I asked you to do an impression of Fry from Futurama, I bet you $5 if you didn't tell me it was Fry, and this is an important thing, if you don't say any catchphrases. So if you don't say any catchphrases, but you're just trying to nail the personality and voice.
Fry.
Yeah, if you're trying to be Fry, but in this story now, bet you $5, I would never know that you're playing Fry. But it would be a unique and interesting voice and personality that you'd be putting onto a character.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's why I always give people that advice. And like, if we didn't laugh and joke above table at all, if there was 0 Butters or South Park references, and you just played the character the way you did, I would just think it was a really interesting, unique character.
Even the Fibbers line, a bunch of the lines that you did as the Butters lines, I didn't catch it till like minutes later.
Oh no,
Fibbers was so good.
Immediately, every time I had to keep pushing the mic away so that I wasn't laughing over people talking.
It was so good.
I think the only one I caught on time was the one where me and you broke. I forgot that one. Whatever the one me and you broke on was the one I caught right away.
Yeah.
But a bunch of them, I was like, it wasn't until minutes later, I was like, fucking Gray did it again.
I'm going to get grounded big time, guys.
Yeah.
That might have been maybe those.
I'm gonna get grounded again.
That might have been it.
That might have been it.
When I know it's an impression, it's a good impression. But if I don't know that it's an impression, it's not. Yeah, it's not like you're a professional voice actor. So like that's why I tell people to just do impressions and don't tell me what it is, and it'll be a good voice.
Yeah.
It'll be a good, interesting voice. And you doing Butters was amazing the whole time. I loved it. I loved it so much.
It was. I love South Park, and that was just excellent every single time.
I do think somewhere between you being perpetually tired, Gray, and this just not being your system, you were pretty quiet through a lot of it. I feel like you were maybe having troubles finding a place to insert
today,
yourself.
Yes. I think the previous ones, not so much.
Even today, I think they're.
You had killer moments for sure.
I mean, me and Gray had a fucking slumber party.
Oh, it was great.
Too.
The slumber party scene was amazing, and I loved it.
Well, I think that makes him a little bit more of a good guy. put a good guy point to that.
I loved that, sitting over here just laughing so hard, because that is absolutely something that little kids would do.
Yeah.
And just good guy point, bad guy point, good.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it so much. I really enjoyed how it was leaning towards good guy until you had your dog check him out. And I was like, well, Upton is not a good guy.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Upton is very willing to shoot this room full of children.
I was very willing to hand off Noah to Upton at that point. One, I was hoping it didn't really bleed too much, but there was a little bit of like meta information of knowing who Upton is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Upton wouldn't callously put Noah into danger.
I probably would have put him into danger trying to utilize him to solve what the greater mystery is, which you guys are unaware of.
Sure, but to an extent, he wouldn't recklessly or like
he wouldn't recklessly because
or needlessly.
Yeah, but one, he's not that much of a bad guy. He would be willing to if it called for it, though.
Yeah, of course.
And the other part would be he would continue to see him as an asset. And if he's no longer an asset, he probably would have dumped him somewhere, maybe back at your farm. Yeah. I don't know.
It's also like the dog gave me reservations, and also like I needed it was Gray's brains check to like the other possible route. And as soon as that was communicated, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Just tell him what he needs to know. We could still hold on to Noah. Yeah. I also want to get the fuck out of that house as fast as we could, because I remembered
as soon as you heard it was a trap. Yeah.
Because it's like, Patricia said there other people are the corpos are gonna come by.
Corpos.
I love how I said that one time
and it just
onto it. Stuck immediately. Just like, oh, corpos, I guess we're using it.
Granted, I want to get out of that house as quick as possible. That was a good, cool scene. Yeah. The escape from the house was a cool scene.
Oh yeah, the whole just riding and Clay just getting absolutely pummeled by a car.
Oh, that was such a great use.
Gray throwing a marble, me trying to throw a bag, and then
that's what I was going to talk about mechanics wise, but it fits into narrative conversation as well. One thing I really, really did not enjoy was the way that scenes are supposed to just wrap with a single roll. You guys did your flight checks to get out of there. And then it's like, oh, I guess the story's done, because this is the big moment. This is the big chase scene at the end. And we had like the big moment, and then it's like, oh, I guess we all go home now. I really didn't like that, so I wanted some type of secondary role to be involved with it.
The book doesn't call for like continued contests for like fleeing scenes or anything like that?
I mean, I would think so, because I would think it would be individual, because the way that when I was looking at it, the way that I was seeing it was kind of like, yes, each individual contest is a single roll.
Yeah.
So like back to episode 1 when I'm fighting Kyle the bully.
Sure.
If, I hadn't been able to intimidate his friends and I kicked Kyle's ass.
That would have been another roll.
And then his friends come at me, those are extra rolls. So every time that but every time that we're going, like in the last episode when we're going down between the houses and trying to run away, that first car, that's one flight check. And then that second car turns down another street. That's another flight check for a completely different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was a level of me having to kind of fabricate that, because realistically what I would have done in a different system is I would have just gone step by step of to what degree you're being followed, to what these guys coming out of this end, this guy's coming out of this end, and each one would be an individual check, some of them leading to little bits of combat and blah, blah, blah. Instead, it was like, well, you guys got out scot-free. So I added one more roll on the back half of it, so it felt like you guys were actually doing something. You guys have already kind of succeeded the flight check that I wanted you guys to make, so I lent it to a brains check from
everyone.
Leo.
Oh yeah, to try to throw off
the trail and whatnot. But realistically, there's a degree of that just above table that was fabricated because I thought it was so unsatisfying to have a check resolve everything.
It's also like small town kids riding in the general direction of the small town.
Yeah.
Where else are they going?
I had no intentions of bringing them there. I thought you guys were gonna get away, and then I was gonna start playing the dreamy music as we got back to the farmhouse and whatnot. And then you guys were like, "All right, we have this new plan, and we got to go to the arcade and blah blah." And I was like, "Well, I have to make it worthwhile," so I had the guys in suits come and check.
Sure.
But then also, we're close to wrap up, and you guys had already succeeded the campaign, so to speak. So they came and checked. DJ didn't give you away or whatever. But like the idea that they came into the arcade or whatever, making it feel intense, like that was also just an extra one to throw onto the top of it, because for reasons they shouldn't be looking for you.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want it to feel like you guys had this whole plan and dragged the narrative on again for what turned out to be no reason at all. Would have felt really dissatisfying. So I was like, yeah, whatever. The guys in suits come into the arcade. It's fine. There was a reason why you did it, and now you get to feel good about it.
Yeah.
But realistically, everything resolved with that flight check. The flight check and then the power character check. Realistically, that was the last check of the campaign.
Yeah. Upton was dealing with whatever was going on with the guys in the black suits. And
Yeah, and probably gathering most of their attention. Also, they have no reason to understand who or why you're there. So, like, the idea that they're going to chase around a bunch of kids, why would they?
The only thing I saw as a necessary part for that was that last vehicle that saw us escape the woods. If they happened to be looking for our bikes, but also if we got to town fast enough through the orchard, the bikes would have been in the shed.
Well, it also just kind of has to be the canonical narrative is that Upton killed those guys in that car at least because Noah used his power. And if they don't keep looking for you guys, knowing that that was Noah with these 4 kids, that, like, yeah, it has to be that fucking Upton killed them. Also, just to really sell that it was Upton, yeah, he was always going to kill Patricia. The moment you guys leave the house, Patricia's a loose end and an adult and a bad person.
Immediately as soon as Upton was in the house and we were having a conversation about Noah and like anything about it, but I was like, oh yeah, Patricia's so dead.
Yeah, Upton's not a good guy, and he's decently good at his job.
Yeah.
Patricia's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's all about tying up loose ends and filling, giving enough meth to kill a meth junkie so that they kill themselves. Yeah. That's what he did in the last campaign with the loose end.
No, honestly, like, I loved this entire campaign. I had so much fun with it. The story was intense in spots and really light and fun and gentle in other spots and heartwarming and heartbreaking. It was great. It hit all the points for me.
Nice. Well, good. I'm glad. I think the next one will be a little bit shorter for the narrative that I want to tell. The third one will probably be akin to this one, but the second one I think would be a little bit shorter. Maybe just like a 2-sessioner.
Yeah. Clay versus the bullies.
I mean, you have that.
Clay walks up to the bike rack on Monday. All the other kids with the.
Oh God!
You do have a gun on, you know.
I do.
You do have a gun.
And 7 shots.
Run, better run.
Canonically,
What you say?
Kyle does not show up on Monday for the fight. Yeah, he's a bitch.
Yeah, of course he doesn't. I mean, come on. He's trying to bully a little kid.
Yeah. And the
it's
way
a good
that
thing your brother's not here, so I can't crap my pants and run away.
Yeah. And the way that rumors spread around that town, I think people would know about it. I think he lost a lot of hero points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now begins the rise of Clay the hero.
Clay the hero.
Clay the fucking football jock as soon as he fucking...
Yeah. Something happens when we get into some money and, next season on the farm, I don't have to work as much. So I go out for the football team, and because of my brawn, I'm just bowling guys over.
We drag Noah to the fucking...
Well, gee, Clay, you sure got a lot of Mexicans here in your orchard now.
Look how much money you've come into.
Me and Clay drag Noah into the sports book. Fucking like, all right, Noah, give us who's gonna win.
Looking into the future, it's like, it's not going to go well. You see that quarterback? He's going to throw a really good pass and it's going to turn the tides of the game. Can you just make that not happen? All right.
We just have this
super confused quarterback as his throw misses.
Yeah, and that's how Clay became the high school football star.
We just have
also,
this.
everybody there has the perception of the pass going well, and so everybody is confused. Some people are in the stands throwing up.
It's the origin of the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Noah at some point has some kind of like crazy overdose in his use of his ability, where he discovers like through the timelines that he actually probably would have been better off in the scientist, because we are just abusing him, stuffing him full of chocolate bars as we try to figure out like bets.
20-year-old Noah loses his foot.
Oh my god! I think my
diabetes.
favorite part of his power, though, is that everybody's perception of what happened still exists. So the guys in the car, super confused as they don't collide with Clay. Like they were out of the car trying to jump on top of you. All of a sudden they're driving again, and that's confusing as shit. From
honestly,
them.
honestly, it would have been cool if you'd narrated like they missed me because they vomited.
Yeah, that could have been a thing, as you see the windshield just sprayed with vomit. Yeah, that could have absolutely
windshield
been a
wipers
thing.
going. It's on the inside, idiot.
Our only resolution to it was that part of the resolution to it for us was like we went through it before.
Yeah.
Like, so the only reason we were more resilient to it.
Yeah.
It's like,
we knew what was going to happen, so we were able to avoid it.
Yeah.
we still felt it and still like a, oof.
Yeah, I was trying to play into that later, like when we're standing in the arcade in the back. I'm just, Clay's rubbing his elbow.
Yeah.
Because he messed it up when he got thrown, but now it's fine. But he still remembers that pain.
It also just adds such an interesting limitation to the power of like, where you can't just abuse it because the people would know that something's off.
Yeah.
I think
eventually people are going to catch on.
Yeah. I think
now Clay has a gun, so
run, better run.
they don't. If they catch on,
that's why Kyle never showed up. Kyle never showed up anywhere again.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Miles?
so we heard there was a body down by the gorge. Turns out it was Kyle.
Also, Miles is just a nice guy.
Oh yeah, no, I kind of figured.
You did stab a kid though. That part's not a rumor.
Nice people stab people. There are reasons for violence.
Miles seemed all right.
So the ending, alternate ending. I let you guys roll the charm check to convince your mom and absolutely stack your adversity tokens, and you guys fail. And then I play Noah's impulsive whatever. He goes, and then the conversation starts again. Your mom's super confused, and then you guys have to divulge the information that Noah has powers. That's how it would have ended if you failed that charm check. Is Noah would have just acted on his own to be like, impulsivity.
No, I want this. Give me this.
I want a family.
Give me the family I deserve. My name is Henry now.
Oh yeah, that's the second or third one. Is Noah's actually just this like overly selfish
dude? That kept throwing me throughout the session today. Every time he'd say Henry, I just had to stop going.
Yeah, because your character from G&G, Henry.
Yeah, every single time, like, huh?
That's funny.
What am I doing?
All right. Any last thoughts on the story? Any last thoughts on Kids on Bikes?
I'm good.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you for listening to Take the Damage podcast, our cooldown on Kids on Bikes. Pick up Kids on Bikes. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next time for we have no idea whatever we're doing next.
Yeah.
See you then.
Whatever's happening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.